Hello, and welcome back to Silph Time, your Pokemon Go PvP podcast. I am, as ever, Zacharias, here today with our host, Thidricker.
Godanhada, herslingar.
Today, we have another wonderful interview. We are actually welcoming the PvP World Champion from the Play Pokemon Go Worlds in London, DancingRob himself.
Hi, I'm DancingRob. My real name is Robert.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was an amazing tear you put on, right? We're going to go over some of the matches in depth here, but all of the matches are worth a watch. If any of you will miss them, they're just top tier play. You got knocked down to the loser's bracket and fought your way up, and then had to fight basically the winner's championship twice in a row after a full day of battling. It's just the mental fortitude to punch through and succeed in all of that's amazing, let alone the top level play you're always achieving. So we're so excited to have you here, hear your thoughts, and just kind of talk about how you became the very best there ever was.
Thank you very much. I'm also happy to be here.
So let's start with, from your regional qualifier to Worlds, what did you think of the meta changing, and how did that help prep you for the team you took to Worlds?
So the meta probably didn't change as much in the time between my European International Championship in the end of April and the actual World in August, because there were like no major move updates or anything too special Pokemon, but we did have a few regionals or international. We saw how people adapt like from what they saw in previous regionals and internationals, and that's like probably the most meta shifting ways. They saw what the regionals and international winners picked and how strong these Pokemon can be in action, and that's probably what did evolve the meta the most.
And so what adaptations did you make going from your regional qualifier team to your Worlds team? What did you think, I really need to adjust this?
So for my Worlds team, I pretty much picked a few of the Pokemon I had on my international team, just because I was comfortable with them. I really wanted to play them again, which was for me the Swampert A9 core and also the Medicham as my fighter, which I consider for myself the best fighter for my playstyle. And like these three are the ones that I definitely wanted to pick. And then I thought about like what was different to EUIC, and I was definitely lacking like a steel type that is more oppressive to Charmers. Like Skarmory was kinda alright, but it took neutral from Weather from Alone and Items and stuff like that. So I definitely agreed to like pick either G-Fist or Registeel, and in the end, G-Fist probably fit in my team a little bit better, but both were options for me. And like then I was like these four Pokemon I wanted to definitely play, and like thinking about save swaps, I also like talked to some friends what could be good options. And here I also looked at like some of the practice cut, what people were playing, and then I heard my good friend Aerosol talking about the Venusaur pick, which was probably like beating the Swampert A9 core, which was rising up. It was fine against either G-Fist or Registeel, what you might not think at first. And yeah, so Venusaur was the pick that I couldn't practice a lot with, but I played Venusaur back then itself, at least the normal variant. The Shadow wasn't out yet, but I feel like I was able to play around and like make Venusaur work at all. And I also walked a little Lickitung before Worlds, just because I felt with more people playing Charmers, it might be better than Sableye, which I played at EUIC. And also I was a little bit lacking bulk with two Shadows in my team, so Lickitung was like my Pokemon to go into the World Championship. Like three Pokemon I was comfortable with, and three Pokemon I feel like they were good against the meta, or like at least needed for the team.
Yeah, and I mean, I think looking over your battles, all of them really put in weight. So you had a lot of good flexibility there. It never felt like you were boxed into a corner in terms of team comp, which was really good. Is there any Pokemon that you kind of wish you'd brought now? Like, I mean, obviously you won, so you have no regrets about it, but you're like, man, I really wish I could have fit this Pokemon in to the team.
So I'm pretty sure, like, I was pretty confident with all the Pokemon I played. Like, some of these Pokemon weren't useful in a lot of matchups. Like, Venusaur was so hard to bring against Shadow Canine or Altaria teams. Swampert wasn't really playable against Altaria or Grass teams. I faced a few of them. But there's probably, like, I could have adapted my team to some opponents, but like when I had to face, I think 11 opponents, play 12 matchups,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I think my team was pretty balanced. It had a few weaknesses or like Pokemon that are, good to bring against my team, like Araquanid or like Cresselia, which is doing pretty good against my team. But yeah, overall, I wouldn't like replace any of these.
Yeah, no, they really fill each other out, and you had that nice balance of bulk versus power to kind of punch through it. Were there any picks that surprised you at Worlds where you're like, oh, that's bold of them to pick this one?
Oh yeah, my first opponent, Stone Collection, had a Shadow Victory Ball, and I also had to face Cindy in loser bracket also with a Shadow Victory Ball, and I didn't expect anyone to run it. My line was pretty weak against it, like the Swampert Core, of course, and the Maddie G-Fisk, and yeah, they all, and Lickitung also kind of all struggle against the Shadow Victory Ball, and only like the Shadow Venusaur can like pretty much handle it. But also there were like a few picks like Altaria that are like so good against some of my Pokemon, but then like not so good against others, which made the matchup a little bit more RPS than I hoped for, which made it hard to play against such team. And I was so surprised. I think I met like 4 or 5 Altaria players, which was not what I expected for the World's meta.
Yeah, Lurgan was talking about team building. He's like, I realized my team was weak to Altaria. And I was like, but Altaria is not very good. You'd be crazy to bring Altaria in a wall ring steel meta. And then he's like, but I couldn't take that risk. And then we look and it's like, oh yeah, 8 people brought Altaria, right?
And I fought like 5 of them. And there were some people like Freaka who even played Altaria and Skarmory, just like bring double flyer. Like I was completely fine playing no flyer at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's great stuff. Fascinating. So let's jump into we're just going to highlight 2 matches, or I guess 3 matches really. They're all great, they're all fascinating. Day 1, Lurgan knocked you into the losers bracket, but then we've got this epic rematch against you all, working your way up. So let's start with this fantastic match of you against Lurgan. All right, so we've talked about your team. Lurgan bringing in his signature Cresselia, Diggersby, one of his growing favorites, Walrein, Shadow Nidoqueen, Scrafty, and Tapu Fini. So having lost to him on the first day, what did you think coming into this match to prepare to beat him to continue your run to take Worlds?
So when I saw that Lurgan won against Action, I was actually pretty terrified just because I felt like he had the most advantageous team over mine just by playing something so different I wasn't accounting for. Like the main issue is probably the Cresselia, which makes the Swampert Core pretty terrible, which I often rely to, and also makes the Medicham pretty much unplayable. And on my first day, I was mostly relying on like trying to go 2-shield A9 and like scare away the Shadow Nidoqueen, or like trying to lure out the Cresselia with the Medicham, and then trying to sweep with the Swampert and like playing a few ABB strats just like trying to exploit his team. But Lurgan was way too good to like fall in these traps, which was probably why he won. It was definitely because he won game 1. She just played that so well, and like I wasn't able to like overcome these matchup disadvantage. And the most issue with this team is probably that like I'm not I don't have great answers to the Cresselia. Probably the best answers are Lickitung and also the Shadow Venusaur, but the Shadow Venusaur is so hard to bring against the Shadow Nidoqueen Warrior line. The Lickitung also with the Galarian Stunfisk is so hard to bring versus the Scrafty. And he has like 4 Pokemon with Shadow Nidoqueen, Warrior, Cresselia, and Scrafty, which are all super playable against my line. He knows I can't bring Charm pretty much with his Shadow Nidoqueen anymore, and also that probably lost me on day 1 the matchup. And yeah, it was a big mind game all over the time. And I think in the first game against Lurgan, I just had to like pray he was bringing double Venusaur coverage into back and just lead straight. Just lead the Shadow Venusaur straight forward with it.
Yeah, so you led Venu, he led Scrafty. Oh yeah.
I was so happy I just caught the Scrafty, which probably was him predicting me to play like a Licky Scrafty combo again, combination again, which I did once at day 1, just because it's like I wanted to be as neutral as possible, but I had to be AVA at some point against one of these 4, which sucked. But yeah, his Shadow Nidoqueen is just way too strong, as you also see here. And yeah, he can like basically 2-shield do all of these matchups, and there's nothing much I can do. And at this point, I can just hope that he doesn't have like water in the back, and like I can still sweep with the Shadow Venusaur.
Right.
And yeah, I was debating a few times whether I should shield and what I should shield and stuff like that. And yeah, the Shadow Venusaur like needs that shield advantage, and that's probably possible if it can dodge the Shadow Nidoqueen, but there's like nothing I can hard wall the Shadow Nidoqueen with, and even the Shadow Swampert, which is so hard to bring. Like I think it can poison thing and 2-shield down. And yeah, Shadow Nidoqueen was probably the most scary thing. And I was happy that I at least didn't face too many of them. I think there were a few of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the combination not only of the Cresselia Diggersby core, Diggersby wasn't like that useful against my team, but also with the Nidoqueen Warrain, which are like the 2 picks I'm not that perfect against. Like I'm better against Registeel or Galarian Stunfisk and some of the other top meta picks. But Lurgan like played a team that is so disadvantageous for me, and he was also able to like play it perfectly most of the time, which is why I struggled so much with this team.
Yeah, so you had great call there, game 1. Got the Venu safe by leading it into Scrafty, because he did bring double answers in the back, so you kept it.
Did.
Brilliant play. So you go up 1 game here, and then we're getting ready for game 2. What was your adaptation thinking in going into game 2 after winning game 1?
So I'm not sure.
You're going to lead Licky versus his Nido.
Yeah. That was one of the games where I felt like I could feel like safe playing, because I felt like I was pretty strong against his Nidoqueen, and I wanted, but of course he's still going to bring it. Like I expected Tim to bring it as a safe swap, which was why I brought the Swampert in the back, and I was pretty sure that Lurgan left his Cresselia, which is why I thought he'd lead it. Like either he leads it and I'll be able to RPS him, which was my like first strat, which I really hoped for, but that prediction failed. And the other option was like I'm gonna lure out the Cresselia with the Medicham, and then just hope that the Swampert can sweep. And that was I was also relying on the Swampert because he didn't bring the Walrein in game 1. So I hoped he also doesn't bring the Walrein again. But yeah, he then like completely called my line, brought like double counters to Swampert in the back, which like bringing Swampert was the wrong call, and was the wrong call after all. And also he saved his crest, which also
forced the shield, and then
Walrein 2 shields
like, versus
2
Swampert.
shields.
Yeah, that's Again, you had the perfect call lead game 1, and he had the perfect call for the back line game 2. It's great matches. And even still, like, even in the wins, these were close matches, and they had to be played perfectly throughout.
Yeah, it is. And he thought like a step further than I did. I thought I did that, which was made why that game was so great, but also so scary for me.
Okay, so we're going game 3. He's going to lead Nidoqueen again. You're going to lead Lickitung again, but you have Stunfisk Venusaur in the back this time.
And that's like also the line I played at day 1 against him, because I feel like if he leads Scrafty, then I'm. But if he doesn't, that's like the only line of 3 I can play where I have like options against like his top 4 Pokemon and Scrafty in the back. So that's like the safest line I could bring, which might sound a little bit weird when he has Scrafty, but I was pretty sure I'll like scared away his Scrafty with bringing the Medicham in the game prior, and also the Shadow Venusaur in the game before.
Yeah, it's just so much mind game and making sure you get the right lineup here.
It is. Yeah.
So we have the same lead as last game. Were you worried here? Were you worried you made the wrong call?
But by not bringing the Swampert, I think he played the same lineup as he did in the game before, and by not bringing the Swampert here, I had better matchup in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal here was like trying to grab a shield advantage, and since it's Nidoqueen, which is quite oppressive all the time, I was pretty sure I can like get the shield advantage. And the Nidoqueen was low, and that's like I was debating now with which Pokemon I want to like try to sweep his line, but like I shielded Jeeves just because it felt so strong overall.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't bring the Scrafty, which he didn't, but even if I can like maybe throw to Earthquake or something like that.
Yeah, Scrafty's energy advantage can be enough.
And then Lurgan probably did the wrong call, and I asked him why he brought in the Warrain, which is taking super effective damage and not like soaking up all the energy with the Cresselia, but he was predicting the Medicham in the back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is also a possibility, but it wasn't what I did. And by bringing the Shadow Venusaur again, I brought him a little bit of nightmares. And I'm sorry.
And he was sad because he's like, I always run Future Sight on Cresselia, and I chickened out this time. And like this matchup, I'm sure he was like, oh, because if he's got Future Sight against Venusaur, it's an entirely different play, you know?
Yeah.
You also see me like going triple, like with my 3 best options against Cresselia, just because I was sure he always likes to play his Cresselia.
He does. He's insanely proficient at it, frighteningly so.
It also just works against my team. But
like it also was very, very. The meta shifted in just enough that it was still had many very relevant plays. And obviously, he played it for his regional qualifier too, because he's going to always find a reason to. But great match there. It really came down to the wire, and the call for what was in the back line, for which Mon he brought out against your Stunfisk there. So let's talk about you now. You've made it to the Godanhada, who made it on the winners bracket. So you have to beat him twice in a row in 2 best-of-5s, which is insane. And I'm not. Again, I really do appreciate this bracket system. While it's frustrating to have to beat him twice, I think making it through the winners bracket deserves that. So I actually do like the setup. But from like a mental perspective of you, it's like, even if I beat him, then he already knows all of my plays and he gets to play me again. So
it's also crazy because I had to play like 10 games already, and he was like only playing 6, and he was 6-0, I was 9-1. I had 3 wins more, but he didn't lose a single time. And he deserves to be in the winners grand finals.
With Altaria, right? The Mon that would be crazy to run. Which, and again, I think the biggest takeaway everyone should have is everyone, especially in that top 8, were insane players, and I think it could have gone any way. It really required top level play from everyone, and you did a phenomenal job. There's no question about you earning this. I just don't want to downplay the skill of the other players, because it was so good. And it's so fun watching the just top tier level matches taking place. So Godanhada, he's running Altaria, Medicham, Shadow Walrein, Shadow Kanto Ninetales, Registeel, Lickitung. What was your thinking building lines going into the finals?
So I really hated this team just because he was playing like a strong core against mine with the Altaria Shadow Canine. And my problem with my team is like I try to always play as neutral as possible, just because like I want flexible picks, I want to overcome bad leads, and not like just win by predicting an RPS in my opponents, which is possible, but it's so hard to do, and it's like mostly relying on like 50-50s a lot of the time. And when I looked at which picks I definitely want to play, I already saw that the Shadow Swampert is hard to bring against the Altaria. The Shadow Venusaur is literally unplayable by losing to his Shadow Canine and his Altaria, which are like his top core.
Mm-hmm.
The Lickitung was so hard to bring with Registeel being like one of his two Alolan Ninetales answer, and like the Lickitung isn't as bad if they go straight Focus Blast, where you can like do more lick and body slam damage, but if they debuff you first, which is how they should play the matchup, that matchup is also like pretty terrible.
Yeah, debuffed lick is debuffed lick just feels so bad.
It's just 1 damage per lick. Yeah, they can like basically win that matchup and have like half HP and still energy left, which no Pokemon appreciates. And yeah, the Alolan Ninetales was so hard to bring against the Shadow Canine and the Registeel. And yeah, so the G-Fizz felt like my best option. The G-Fizz and the Medicham felt like my best option so far. He wasn't running a Ghost type or a Fairy type, which is why the Medicham's so great overall. His best option is probably the Altaria against it, but my Medicham at least has Ice Punch. I think his was running Power Punch Psychic.
Mm.
And the Galarian Stunfisk only has to fear the Medicham. But I had answers to Medicham, and like he had probably better options against me, which is why in my mind I was like always trying to play Medicham and Galarian Stunfisk as even more Medicham, which is a little bit safer than Galarian Stunfisk, like as my safe swap or as the lead, just to win that matchup and trying to line up my Pokemon. And I had to always take one of the other 4, which are a little bit more RPS since they can be hard counted. But that's like most of the matchups I lost. He just outcalled me. Like he predicted I'm going to lead the A9 and let Shadow Canine or something like that, which is unfortunate for me, but greatly predicted.
Yeah.
So I was basically sure I'm going to bring Medicham and Galarian Stunfisk, and after seeing his Pokemon, what he was playing in the first few games, I was like adapting my third Pokemon. And I think in the first game,
it's Stunfisk into Registeel. You bring Stunfisk, A9, Medicham. He brings Registeel, Licky, Walrein.
Like A9 was the one I felt like he was having at least like 2 or 3 very positive matchup where I could try to align it perfectly. And I'm pretty sure I win that first game. And and the Registeel in the lead, my A9 felt safe, but he also could have had a Shadow Canine in the back. But like if I win that lead, my Shadow and my Alolan Ninetales can dodge either the Registeel or the Shadow Canine and have like a positive matchup, which felt good for me. And like the full health Stunfisk is great for me and can do a lot of work.
I'm surprised he didn't fight over Prio there. I'm surprised that he just let Reggie go.
I was also pretty surprised, but he also like Rain with a shield advantage is great, and I think he probably should have swapped early into Lickitung that first game, but he wasn't sure whether I was running Power Punch, and then it's probably the better play to like stay and chip it away like he did. Yeah, but since I was running the Alolan Ninetales in the back, that's like all I needed was like throw as many charges as possible just to get him low. Not like grab the shields, but like just so I'll be able to charm it down.
Yeah, that charm just punches so hard. So yeah, once you got Reggie out of the way there, you had a clear path for A9.
I wasn't sure whether, at least after I saw all of the three and he didn't bring the Shadow Canine, then I was sure that the Charm A9 was the option, was the one thing that won me this game.
Yeah. So in game 2, you're going to lead Stunfisk into Shadow Canine, Swampert Medi in the back. He's going to have Registeel Lickitung in the back.
And in the second game, I was pretty sure he'd bring his Canine now, but I hoped it was in the back, as former opponents also brought the Shadow Canine more in the safe swap position against me. Especially he could have safe swapped Shadow Canine against my first team, which is why I wanted to hard punish it with the Swampert. But yeah, this is also why I swapped into the Medi, because I really wanted to align the Swampert with the Shadow Canine, but he was staying, which was a little bit problematic for me. But yeah, then he let the Medicham go. I was pretty sure he has to come with either Altaria or Rain just to farm me down, but it was the Lickitung, which is why I was surprised. And at this point, I wasn't sure what was in the back. But yeah, he played, I think, Shadow Canine lead with Reggie in the back, which is so weak against Swampert Leap, which is like the insta loss.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like his line was he did make great catches, great plays, but I think his line at this match was just a little bit too weak against the Swampert Medicham core, which is why I think after this game he starts running Altaria and making a lot of great calls against me. Like I felt like in the first 2 games he just had to like check which Pokemon he has to bring, and he played the Registeel because he was so scared of the Alolan Ninetales, but like I didn't need to play it all the time.
Right, yeah. That's that good diverse team building you got there. Then game 3 of this one, you're going to lead Alolan Ninetales into his Kanto Ninetales with Medicham.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to hard predict the Altaria lead, which made sense since like bringing the Swampert lead in the last game would have ruined him the day, and like bringing a Swampert lead now seems way too obvious, but maybe he thought that, and like I'm gonna bring Alolan Ninetales, so he brought the Shadow Counter Ninetales. He also like handled my Medi-Safe swap pretty well just by chipping it.
Yeah.
And then going to his own Medi, which is perfect, which is what I would have also done in his position. And in the end, I'm pretty sure that I can't beat the Shadow Canine. Like, and his Lickitung is also pretty strong against my team. Like generally, it pretty much loses to Galarian Stunfisk, but it's not that bad as you might think, and it also generally loses to the Medicham, but again, it's also not that bad. Which is why I like that you brought the Lickitung, because I would have done similar.
It's just Lickitung doesn't have any hard losses in this, because it's just always going to get chip in at the very least. It's basically just Registeel, which you don't have, that it gets just super hard walled.
Exactly. Like other options like Obstagoon or some of these would also work, but none of these which I run. And yeah, I was also too scared to run my my Lickitung because of his Registeel, which he brought in the first 2 games. So yeah, I felt outpredicted at this game. And the next game, I think he also did some great calls.
Yeah, so next game, you're going to lead Medicham into his Altaria. You have Stunfisk Swampert back. He's got Medicham Lickitung back.
I think this was my a line where I wasn't sure whether he's going to bring Altaria at all in these games if he just doesn't like playing Altaria, which is why I went so weak against Altaria. But he made a great call just by leading Altaria, which wouldn't have worked against me in the previous games just because I was always playing Medicham in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game I didn't, and he read that. And yeah, I needed to bring the Altaria at least in Hydro Cannon range so that if he like hard swaps, I can still like overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
And since he went in that Licky, and like I was pretty sure, that there's Registeel in the back just because the Altaria Registeel core made sense, or the Altaria Shadow Canine core would have made sense. And with either of these options, the Lickitung safe swap felt like he wanted to lure out the Shadow Swampert. And yeah, which is why I was pretty sure I was going to win this game, but it was Medicham in the back, which was a bold line from him against the Alola Ninetales team. And he wasn't bringing any answer to Alola Ninetales, like going triple weak against it, but I didn't bring the Alola Ninetales, which was then again a good call from him, which is why show 6 can be so different to like PBL or something like that.
Yeah, it's great adjustments, and then you're going to come back here in game 5 with your own adjustment. You're going to lead Stunfisk into his Kanto Ninetales, Medicham Swampert back. He's going to continue with Altaria, but in the back with Licky for his safe swap.
Yeah. At this point, I was debating whether I should go Alola Ninetales just because it was triple weak against it. But then again, I thought he might call this and like lead either Altaria or either Registeel or Canine, or also the Altaria again, which is why G-Fizz felt like my safe lead. But then if Altaria is in the back, I was kind of playing ABB. I had to lure it out and trying to sweep with the Swampert, which is exactly like what I did. I was safe swapping the Medicham, and he was playing his Altaria in the last 3 games, and he also did here. And yeah, I got the Altaria low so that G-Fizz can handle it. I can farm up to a lot of energy here, try to threaten the K9 or whatever is in the back. But then he made a great swap just to save his Altaria for whatever might be in my back. And yeah, that's just what made this game so close. And then I think he throws like 1 or 2 licks early, and you see me like rethinking, isn't it too early?
Did he sneak?
Did I miscount? And I was so sure, like, Godanhada is such a great player. He can't throw too early. He has to have the energy. I might have miscounted by 1 or 2 licks, but so I should it anyways.
Because if you don't, you lose and it is, and you had miscounted, that's game.
Exactly.
And so
yeah, and I think if he didn't throw the power whip, which was a little bit overkill, but the body slam, like trying to like farm me down more like this would have gone different. But
yeah, we were one
the
fast
power
move
whip,
away
I
here
was
too.
able to like overfarm perfectly, and then like over from just like 1 mud shot to outpace the Altaria.
That
which is what made that great game like the closest of the whole tournament.
Yeah, I'm sure your adrenaline was. I was just saying, I'm sure your adrenaline was on fire at that point with that.
Oh yeah, I heard the crowd through the headphones at this game. Just like everyone was standing up, and yeah, I couldn't like in mid game when he brought in the Lickitung and I shielded the wrong move. I was so sure like this Battlefield 5 ends here, but yeah, I found my win in the end.
Beautiful, great, and then you get this clutch victory, 1 mud shot, 1 Dragon Breath making the difference, and then you have to play another best of 5 immediately against him. So you didn't even get a break because it immediately just continues. You're like, all right, 10 in a row, here we go. All right, so how did you realign yourself to get ready to win another best of 5?
So yeah, I was like checking back his team and was pretty sure that relying on the G-Fizz core was still great, was my most flexible option. And like after every game I was still debating which of my other 4 Pokemon, which one I should bring. And I think in the second best of 5, I'll also start to play Lickitung, just because he was playing his Altaria Canine Core more often, and not bringing his Registeel more, because I was also playing the Alolan Ninetales pretty a little bit more rarely, which is why I'm not sure whether I started in the first game, but I'm pretty sure
Lickitung is
I'm
game
gonna
2.
bring.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah, so we'll game 1, you're gonna lead Kanto or Alolan Ninetales into his Kanto Ninetales, Medicham Stunfisk in the back for you, Registeel Walrein in the back for him.
which is like I was still sure he would bring Altaria at some point, and this line with Medicham saves kind of made sense. And I was so surprised by him kind of swapping the Registeel and like not staying in here, because he could align the Alolan Ninetales with the Registeel, but he brought me like in Zap kind of lockup range, which was perfect for him, or at least like bring me like farm down range, or him surviving there also ruined my day.
Surviving and throwing the charge move at 1 HP is just brutal, because it's like I can't lose alignment now.
Exactly. And I was so sure then that he had Altaria in the back, just because I felt like he wanted to keep alignment, or at least sweep with the Kanto Ninetales. But the Kanto Ninetales ruined my day, and my only option then was to try to charm down all of his Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure even with Altaria in the pack, the Ember damage was too oppressive at this point, and he even goes for the overheat, which was a little bit overkill.
It's about sending a message.
He is, and it definitely was.
Yeah, so
this game, I mispredicted his line. I thought he'd bring Altaria regularly now, and I was pretty fine bringing my Alolan Ninetales, but it was so strong against Alolan Ninetales. Bringing Alolan Ninetales was a mistake here. Which is what won him the game.
So you swap out Alolan Ninetales. This is where you lead Lickitung, because it's just your safe lead. Medicham and Stunfisk in the back. He's going to lead Medicham with his Registeel and Lickitung.
Yeah, which is the one lead that Medi or Registeel were probably the hardest leads. But I was lucky that he didn't throw the pup immediately.
Right.
Just because he also had he probably wanted to sweep with either of his backlines, which are also great picks that can overcome bad situations. He was playing Lickitung and Registeel in the back. But I was happy that I was kind of playing ABA weak to counter, but I was nice. It was nice that I was able to bring Medicham kind of low, where G-Fist or the others could handle it. I think he's gonna bring in Medicham here again. And which is why I wanted to hard swap, but then he insta swaps, which is probably a mistake for him here. Just because I'm not sure what he predicted there, but at this point I felt safe just to be able to sweep with Medicham, and he probably saw that his line was just way too weak against Medicham, even though he won the lead, which is why he definitely has to adapt in the next game by just shielding both Sap cannons, since they do the most damage, and then also clearing my debuff, trying to grab the last shield. But he was sure it was over anyways at this point, which is why he didn't shield.
I'm guessing he was assuming Alolan Ninetales in the back, which is why he was holding Reggie.
That's actually pretty smart at this
because
point.
And that's the thing is if you had done that, he would have looked brilliant. It's just it's so hard guessing the back line. It just requires these great adaptations. Both of you all have been making, right? Both of you all are adapting and changing. So game 3, you're going to lead.
He lost the 50-50 there just by he was thinking I'm going to bring Ada now again, just because he definitely has to bring Altaria again, but he doesn't. I don't bring the Alolan Ninetales, but if he brought the Altaria, it probably would have looked different.
Yeah. So you're going to lead Stunfisk here. He's going to lead Altaria. And then you've got A9 Metacham in the back, and he's got Licky Metacham in the back.
Yeah, which is why I'm going to bring the A9 again, just because I was pretty sure he was going to bring Altaria at some point. And by going with Galarian Stunfisk lead and A9 in the back, like if he has Altaria in the back, I can like either stay in the lead or like save the Galarian Stunfisk for the Altaria, which is like my both options. But just by going strong into Altaria with my front and my back, I'm pretty flexible there. And yeah, I think I'm gonna, yeah, exactly. And here I know that I don't need switch advantage, just because like both of my options are pretty great against whatever he has in the back. And even if it's like Canto Ninetales, my G-Fist will do fine. And if it's Medicham or Walrein, then my Alolan Ninetales will be fine.
Yeah,
I didn't actually expect him to be Medicham in the back, because Alolan Ninetales lead was then completely wrecked him. So I was more expecting the Counter Ninetales in the back, which is why I was over farming here a lot. And was also debating undercharging, but he probably could have swapped. But yeah, then when he brought out the Medicham and he even no-shielded Earthquake, I knew I was able to charm down here. Got the 2-1 at this point. And he also knows it's over.
Easy peasy. So many mind games.
3 shields remaining at the end of that one had to feel great.
Yeah, then I had 2 options, 2 games to like win it all. But of course, I didn't want to make it too exciting and win the next one, but it didn't work out.
For the fans, you wanted to give us 5 games, right?
Of course. 2 times 3-2 just looks better.
So Swampert into Altaria, Metacham A9
spot
in the back, K9 Licky for him.
So I was pretty sure by going G-Fist and A9 that he's not going to bring his Altaria, or at least definitely not illegally, which I was like kind of playing a little bit ABA. But like by bringing the Medicham into Altaria, he either has to like get into another Pokemon which might lose him switch, which is definitely what I want, or like stay in the lead and like bring it into Hydro Cannon range. But yeah, here I wanted to be smart and like farm the Altaria down, but that's not what much it pretty much can do. And I also predicted Medicham in the back again, and at least that's what I hoped for, just that he was playing so weak against Alola Ninetales again, but he was too smart and brought his Kanto Ninetales again, which is why I probably shouldn't have swapped here and trying to sweep with the Shadow Swampert. But yeah, I outsmarted myself here just by over predicting too much.
And so then we come to the final game that will decide. After 9 games, it's technically now a best of 1 to decide who will be the world champion. What is your plan here?
I think I'm just gonna bring my Game 8 line again with the G-Fist lead and the Alola Ninetales in the back. And my plan here was just to win the lead by like even going down shields against Warren, or just something, just to have my Alola Ninetales neutral or even better good matchup. And yeah, like trying to make it as safe as I could, or like even if he leads Medicham, I probably just safe swap in my Medicham on my own. But yeah, then I also caught the perfect lead in this game, which is...
So you're going to lead Stunfisk, he's going to lead Altaria, but he has K9 and Lickitung in the back, which is a swap up for him for your A9 Metacham in the back. So it's all Ninetales, all Metachams.
It is. And yeah, in this game, I played the same way as I did in the 2 games before, just because I don't need switch. And I was debating here whether I should bait, but if he had K9 in the back, he probably would have not shielded, which is why I was pretty sure at this point that he doesn't have K9 in the back, just because he needed shields for the K9. And yeah, at this point, when I threw the rock slide and waited for he probably should have gone into Altaria if he knew that my Alola Ninetales was in the back, but I'm pretty sure he predicted Swampert.
Yeah, I
Which
think
was
so.
probably a great play if I had the Swampert in the back. So yeah, at this point, like after the throwing the second rock slide, I was debating whether I should go Earthquake just because it definitely would have been enough then. But then he might have been able to catch and it could have been close. So by throwing the second rock slide, he was charmed down range. And yeah, that's what won me the game, just by charming down his Shadow Canto Ninetales.
Very nice.
Yeah, if you predicted A9 in the back and had gone Altaria in, I think your Stunfisk was low enough it at least would have not been able to get all that off. And that's the thing is
like
trying to figure out the back.
Probably would have. He probably would have survived to rock slide. Oh, definitely would have been closer. And our hat probably had to shield early. And yeah, definitely would have been close.
Yeah, great adaptations from both of you all. Top level play. Again, it went the distance, 10 entire games after your full day of losers match. If you lose, you're out. Just a brutal slog. But like,
next time I'm gonna stay in the winners bracket more. I promise.
That makes sense. That's a lot easier. Why don't we just do that?
Solid strategy.
It's like Happy Gilmore when he hits a hole in one. He's like, "That's so much easier than putting. Why don't I just do that every time?"
Exactly.
Yeah, just stay in the winners bracket. It's much better. We decided that Lurgan and you are going to have to meet up in the finals next year for the Rocky 2 finale, for the proper scripted rematch.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So great matches. So let's it's amazing. You played super well. Going forward, you've got an invite to Japan already as the reigning world champion, so you get to go. What are you looking to do to prepare going forwards? I mean, you got plenty of time before Japan, and you don't have to do regionals, but just you've got factions, right? You're part of the Emerald tier faction, so I know you get those matches in. What are you looking at kind of as good up and coming Pokemon that you might want to take in now that we've got some really interesting move updates?
Oh, we definitely have. And I'm so excited for the upcoming regionals, and I'm definitely gonna watch them all. I'm also trying to attend some of these, at least in Europe. It's a little bit problematic to go to some of these due to my university, but between February and April, probably most of them work. I think that's Utrecht and EUIC, so you'll probably see me there just by like going for the experience, maybe only spectating. I'm not sure yet how much I want to play, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna look forward watching all these, trying to scan the meta, what is viable, and definitely practicing for Japan, at least at some point.
Well, in February, we've got one here down in Florida. You can come and then stop over at Disney World.
Sounds like a plan also.
Yeah, Orlando's great. So great stuff, great matches. And we really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, especially the semester starting up, I know, to come and have a chat with us, to walk us through these games and your thoughts. Just great stuff. Is there any teammates you want to thank for grinding thousands of matches as you prepped your team? Any shout outs you want to give while we got you here?
I'm pretty sure I already thanked a lot of them on the world stream. I appreciate them all. I didn't practice too much for Worlds, at least I don't know how much I hoped for, but it all worked out in the end.
Right, so clearly you're so good you don't need to practice, and everyone else needs to get on your level, right?
Exactly.
That's not said, how I want to sound, but
listen, we're trying to stir up drama. It's everyone loves the drama.
Sure.
So
exactly.
I love my German PvP community. I have some Europeans and Americans that I love practicing and playing with. I'm definitely gonna keep in touch with a lot of them. I also got to know most of them personally in London, which was great. And yeah, which is also why I want to participate in some of the in-person events in the next season too.
Yeah, of course. Lurgan always talks about how just the experience being there with all these great people and hanging out with peers is just so awesome, so great. And while we always recommend, even if you like, you don't have to go to regionals expecting to crush it and kill it. Obviously, you want to try your best, but just going and meeting and having fun is such a great experience for everyone. You know,
I definitely didn't expect to win either EUIC, like getting into top 4 at EUIC or winning Worlds. Like I was just there going for my friends just because it was pretty near or I was qualified. Yeah, that's why I was there, and yeah, it was a great experience for sure.
So glad to hear that. You know, if you ever want to come back, obviously we're always happy to have you. We look forward to seeing you at least at next year's Worlds and watching those great moves go. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking out time, and I know everyone appreciates hearing your thoughts. Thanks
for
everyone.
having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us for this. If there are any other interviews you want to hear from us, please let us know. If there's anything else you'd like to see or hear, please contact us. You can get us in the YouTube comments or through Instagram, Twitter, or Gmail at SilphThymepod, all one word. And trainers, see you out there for a battle, in person or remote, Silph or GBL. Looking forward to it.